So nickel prices are rising again after trading at its lower limits in the past days. Nickel surged 15% on the London Metal Exchange and hit its upper limit. Now, nickel made a chaotic return to the LME last week after the venue suspended trading. Yes, suspended trading for 6 days, a controversial move to a broken market, which saw the price of nickel go vertical and trade at over $100,000 a ton. Matthew Chamberlain is chief executive of the London Metal Exchange, and he joins us to talk about these unprecedented moves. You know, chaos doesn't begin to cover this in terms of what happened. It's true. It's not an exaggeration. The nickel market broke. It literally broke. It was up more than 2.5 times in just over a day, billions in losses, many still picking up the pieces here. What did happen and what is still the fallout from this? And I will say I am letting you off easy by just getting you to explain it and get it off your back right now.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. So I think we have two elements here. The first is a commodities market across metals and other commodities, which clearly is tight given a scarcity of commodities, and of course, given the horrific events in Ukraine and the natural implications of that for Russian commodities and commodity chains. But then with nickel, there was another element, which is that a large client of the market had built up a short position in the over-the-counter market, not on the exchange, I want to emphasize, but in the over-the-counter market. And it became obvious as that price, as you say, hit $100,000, that there was a very real problem, which was not related to market fundamentals. It was related to this technical over-the-counter market problem, and that's when we had to intervene.
It still is unnerving, as you well know. I mean, you guys had to push pause. You closed the market. The thing is, you canceled trades. That was unprecedented. And traders are still angry at you for this. What do you say to them? And I will add, other people thought that, look, given the systemic risk, that this was a good defensive move. But what do you say?
Look, I absolutely understand the concern and the anger of many people, given the actions that we had to take. I think that the scale of that action, the importance of that action, demonstrates just how important we felt this was. And that had we not done that, had we not paused the market and cancelled trades, we felt that there would have been very systemic problems in terms of producing a price that had disconnected from physical reality, which would have been a huge problem for the physical market, in terms of requiring margin to be paid at levels that didn't relate to real prices, and probably causing some significant systemic problems. So I understand the anger, and all I would say is that I think that the scale of the action we took demonstrates the scale of the problem that we had to deal with.
And I understand that, and that makes me even more worried, especially when we start to discuss systemic risks. So let me ask you this. The U.S. administration had been giving us intelligence for weeks that this may happen, this invasion could happen, was likely to happen. You and I both know the importance of Russia to the commodities market. What do you do now to make sure you're in more of a defensive position? I mean, remembering this was not a natural disaster. This was telegraphed.
Well, as I say, I think it is important to separate the two elements. So the views and the understandable concerns around taking Russian commodities, given the situation in Ukraine, is one element, and that's impacted all of our metals. So that's impacted aluminium, it's impacted copper, it's impacted nickel. But that effect has been manageable within the context of the market. We haven't seen the aluminium market, for example, blow out in the same way that the nickel market did. So obviously the market has reacted to events in Ukraine and the expectations perhaps of Russian metal being less available, but that I think has happened in an orderly manner. It's important to note that the nickel situation is totally different. The nickel situation is a technical situation driven by a particular client in the OTC market who got themselves into a position that threatened the systemic stability of the market. So I think it's important to separate the two.
Okay, I have to go, but do you think you'd have to do this again then? Because that doesn't give me a lot of confidence that this wouldn't happen again. You have to have transparency, right? You have to have a look-see into the system. Sorry, I don't have a lot of time, but I'll give you one opportunity here.
Absolutely. So the most important thing is we have put in price limit, daily price limits, which the LME has never had before. People have not wanted on the LME before. Those price limits are now in place. They're going to stay in place, and that protects us. And we will also go and look more at the OTC market, where we have been rebuffed in the past, because we have to know what's happening in the OTC market to protect our exchange.
Okay, fair enough. Matthew Chamberlain, I really appreciate you getting through all of that with us. Thanks so much.